We had a 90-play scrimmage today, and it went really well. Defense made some plays, and then offense made a few plays. So I'm encouraged with where we're at with our football team. We obviously need the work next week, and then we'll start to tempo down a little bit before we travel up to Michigan. But our attitude's good. Players are excited, comfortable with our coaches. So we just got to keep rolling and get ready for next week, and then get ready to play in a game.
What's your biggest concern going into the season, Mike?
Well, always you have some guys that have never played, and they'll be in an environment that they're not accustomed to, obviously playing on the road, but you just want to take care of the ball and play hard. Other than that, I'm not really concerned about a lot.
Defensive tackle, sort of an unproven spot. How's that look?
I've been pleased with Vince, Mote, and Eric Davis. Those guys have made some plays inside. We need them to be strong in those A gaps and let our ends make plays. Position-wise, that is a concern because the guys playing at that spot haven't competed at this level. But for the most part, they've had a good camp.
There's been quite a bit of buzz about Jeff Carr. You've spoken pretty positively about him. Has he proven to this point that you're ready to put him out there? I mean, is he going to be a guy that plays for you?
Sure. Jeff Carr and Jalen McCleskey and Magruder, I think I mentioned those guys a couple weeks ago. They'll all play. Darian Daniels, I think, will play. If we feel like that we want to put him in there and get him some time. But those other guys will, I feel like, will play in the first game.
And McCleskey's interesting because that's the deepest position group you got, and he just came in and kind of commanded your attention.
He's just making plays, and we're hoping he can help us in special teams. And so when guys come in and compete and earn the right to play, we're going to put them in there. And, it's interesting in recruiting. Those were two guys that, in a lot of people's opinions, weren't as heavily recruited as other players in our class and in other classes in this conference, and they end up being the guys that are going to, looks like, compete in the first game.
Were they lightly recruited, Mike, because they were so smaller guys? Because they, 150
if you
and
put
170
me on the spot
pounds?
and said I had to say one way or the other, I would say yes.
Because their numbers.
They're very, very lightly recruited.
Yeah, because their numbers were.
Sure. Yeah, they made plays in high school.
The word is, when you first saw Carr on tape, it was instantaneous. It's a no-brainer. You remember the first time you watched tape?
I was at home, and I got a call the day before signing day, and 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and so I went in on the computer and had my son pull it up, because I don't know how to pull things up on the computer, and so he pulled him up and clicked him on, and he and I watched him, and we agreed that he's definitely good enough to play at this level.
What are you going to do with him? You have a plan for him yet?
Carr, we'll play him running back.
In terms of how you're going to use him?
Well, we're trying to teach him our offense, but we're going to give him maybe 12 or 15 plays that we think that work to his advantage, and not force feed it all to him early, but would like to have him up and running by the middle of October. And we'll just have to see how it goes. He's done very well up to this point, and sure we'll know a lot more in 3 or 4 weeks.
Your best offenses average 200 yards and 5 yards, whatever, per attempt. Do you think the combination of your offensive line and your backfield personnel now can get you that?
Well, I'm not sure. Our offensive line is better, but we're still not where we were the years that we were averaging those kind of yards. So I don't want to say that we're to that point yet. If you look across the board, we're improved with maturity, with some speed, some skill, and some experience on the offensive line. But again, we'll know a lot more in 4 or 5 weeks, but I'm not sure that we're to the point where 200 yards and 5+ and the 35, 40 points a game where we were those good years. But we're working toward that goal.